Okay, here is the first question in our new summer challenge for 101 questions to ask about your life from the lovely Luna and Soul at Loner Wolf. I personally love their website. They have a lot of really awesome articles. I recommend checking it out. Okay, so the question that we're doing today, we're just starting with the first one. It's in the category of love. And it is, am I in love with the idea of love? So I invite you, if you want to join in on this, is to already stop there, pause this, write down what comes up for you in the comments, or record your own video and share it if you want to. Or just listen to me ramble about what this brings up for me. So I haven't thought about this before. I'm just like letting myself, as I always do, just speak from the heart, not like preparing anything, allowing myself to be imperfect in this moment, which if you have a hard time letting yourself do that, if you are joining this challenge, don't feel bad. Like, I've been practicing for over a year now, and that's why I can do this in this way, but it did take me time, so don't be hard on yourself if you have a hard time just letting yourself go, especially in front of a camera. So this first question, am I in love with the idea of love? What does this bring up for me from the heart? So I think that for me, what this brings up for me ties into a video that at the date of recording this that I was, in which I was just talking about some of the things that I know that I need to be careful about in terms of major ups and downs with love, but also like fear or sadness. And I think that as an idealist, I can definitely be in love with the idea of love sometimes, and be in love with all kinds of grand ideas and all kinds of romantic kind of ways of seeing things and how things could be, and really seeing the potential in people, in ideas, in plans, in projects, in jobs, in life, new life abroad maybe. So yeah, I think I can become in love with the idea of love sometimes, and just like with also sometimes allowing myself to plunge into sadness and wallow in that and see the beauty in sadness sometimes, I know that I need to be careful, with how far I let myself go, and how long I stay in these emotions, or how hard I strive to feel these emotions in order to be feeling something, sometimes if I'm feeling bored because things are too stable. I know that that's something that I am personally need to watch out for, because I do feel a lot. And so being in love with the idea of love, I think this is, if you would ask me this question in different moments in my life, there would be different answers, right? I mean, if I were, like when I was in high school, when I first started dating, was I in love with the idea of love at that time? Was I trying to create like love that we see, like mainstream love in the movies of that idea of like what love is supposed to look like according to somebody that might not actually be real, or what love actually is for us. Now I'm married, and the idea of love, being in love with the idea of love, now that time has gone by, I see the different kinds of love more clearly, and how love can evolve, and how, if anything, there should be different names for the different kinds of love, and different names for the different phases, and like the evolution of love, if we're talking about romantic love in a relationship. Because in the beginning, like, I mean, when you say I love you to your partner, it's not the same as after many years of being with that person and loving them in a different way. And I'm very fortunate to have a partner who, I never usually talk about my partner on my channel, so out of respect for his privacy. But I will just say that that I'm very fortunate to be in a relationship where I do feel our love evolving, and both of us are idealists in the sense that we have learned and we have seen that you know, we were holding certain standards for each other, that are, like, you know, we're idealists, so we weren't necessarily able to like live up to the standards that we were holding for each other, but that over time, through really being able to see like all aspects of each other, of each person, that we were able to finally begin to accept some of those things that weren't a part of the ideals. And begin to see it, like, our love evolve and transform into this much deeper kind of love that I personally didn't know was possible because I hadn't felt it. I mean, maybe the idea of that kind of love is there, but I don't think that in terms of relationships with others that I have like a lot of ideas that I hold on to, or like expectations, because I think it's because mostly I think that I assume that people are going to let me down, and so I don't hold on to an idea. I mean, maybe I don't let myself feel like the idea of love. Maybe I hadn't let myself fall in love with it because I didn't want to be disappointed, so I never really even allowed myself to have this idea of love from someone else or with someone else. Same goes like with relationships, with friendships, and somehow giving up or not expecting anything is maybe like the better way to say it, because I didn't really, like, it wasn't about giving up, but for a long time, people would ask me like, oh, do you have a boyfriend? And I would be like, no, I don't want one. And people were surprised by that, but I really didn't. I had decided that just wasn't something that I wanted, that I wouldn't find what I was looking for anyway. And when I stopped having expectations and I stopped looking, that's when eventually, you know, I met somebody, that my husband, that I was like, wow, okay, maybe this could work. And then so here we are now. So I guess I would say like I'm not really in love with the idea of love, but I think that it is a really important question to ask because I think some people really are, and that causes a lot of suffering because it can cause us to be those idealists that are like searching for something that doesn't necessarily exist or not in the way that we want it to. And sometimes what we think we want isn't actually what we need. And when we allow ourselves to like let go of what we think that we want or need, we get what we actually want or need, and it ends up being even better than what we could have imagined in the beginning because we just didn't know what was possible. Maybe. I mean, so this is the first question. I don't know if I'll be able to ever answer any of these questions in a very straightforward way. And maybe that's the point. So I hope that if you decide to join in on this, that you know that it's more about whatever the questions bring up for you and not necessarily like worrying about whether or not you're answering the question right or wrong. That's not what it's about, right? It's just taking a moment to see what's going on for you and see if it brings up something that you need to see or understand, or see how you've evolved or grown or where you're going, or something you need to be mindful of on your path and for the future. Just some ideas. So stay tuned for the next question that will be coming out soon. And I look forward to seeing what this brought up for you. Feel free to share in the comments, in a video that you leave in the comments, however you want to do this, if you want to participate. We've got 100 more questions to go. If we do them all, we'll see how this goes. But that is the idea, the challenge for this summer. So I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, take care.